Hello, I just finished reading Soseki Natsume's Sorekara. English title is And Then. Um, I am shaken. This is a great Soseki's novel. Maybe, I read like a Bochan, Sanshiro, and Kokoro already, and the Samakura. And each time I read his book, I felt like, what, this is the best. Gosh, and what Sorekara is like a trilogy, I would say. Sanshiro, Sorekara, and the Mode, the Gate is the last one. And Sanshiro was about very casual, his like young students' life with encountering their friends and the intellectual, the atmosphere and so forth. So I kind of started to read, and in this particular book, this is the book. The English translation by Norma Moorfield, and so I started to read casually, like a Sanshiro, and so like a first maybe 3/4 part of it is like this guy who are rich, and the family is rich, and the family support him after he finished the school, and he's a very bright young man, and but he idles because he thinks that getting the job is like a worst thing. He has to pursue this intellectual lifestyle, and I think he's aspiring to the writer or something, probably because his friends is the publishers, editors and so forth. So I think he's aspiring to be a writer of some sort. So he doesn't get any menial jobs or anything to support himself, and he depends on his family's fathers, especially support. And he has been, he was very happy doing that, and going to the theaters, very high culture, intellectual culture, and enjoy that, and he read books, and he talk about the art and all this thing, and so in my mind in the beginning, so wow, how lucky he is, but kind of strange that he doesn't want to get a job to support himself. That kind of stuck in me, that why this guy, even though he's rich, don't get the job. And so that's my criticism to this guy. And but the family is also pressuring him, and also it's a marriage. He has been, omiyai, which is the arrangement marriage in Japan. They kind of introduce this particular person, the female person, for the possibility of getting married, right? Okay, so he has been turning down those things that he doesn't like her as much, and he many times he turned down. So family has been pressuring him to get married, because in Japanese society, getting married is one of the thing that they establish as a social status, to be a man, to be a successful person, and the father and this guy has a brother. A brother has a wife, and they have a kids and everything, and but they have been very, very nice to him because they love as a family member. But the father getting older and getting impatient, and also father has this business interest for arranging this marriage. So father introduced this woman, and they meet. He was tricked to meet this particular person, and not a formal omiai setting, but he was tricked to meet this woman, and after that, the family pressured, especially father pressured him, and father said to him that well, if you don't obey my order to getting married, he doesn't want to support him anymore, So, but he is kind of idealistic, and he has to be pure in his mind. He only marries with the person he really loves, and so that's on and on and on until like a 3/4 of this particular fiction. And but that's fun to read over there too. And but then, boom! All of a sudden, this climax comes, because it turned out to be the reason why he cannot marry with this arrangement person, and he tried to tell family that I know I cannot marry, all those stuff, and but he has this woman who is his best friend's wife, and so there's a tremendously engaging climax. I think that's 3 climax in this particular fiction, and I think this is like a spoiler, so I don't want you to go further. If you haven't read this, I really strongly recommend you read this. This is one of his best, one of his Sosuke's best fiction, and I really recommend that even though you are a Westerner, not knowing a Japanese society, Japanese custom, tradition, all these things, but still you understand how this particular story is going, and you really appreciate the particular development of the story. Okay, so this one becomes like spoiler range, so I don't want to spoil, because when I read this, I didn't know anything about this particular storyline. I have no idea. I thought that was like exactly like a Sanshiro, it's like a carefree person, the viewing the life and everything, and but it went much deeper, and very strong depictions of the love. So the first climax is that he decided to talk to this friend's wife, that he has been in love with her from the very onset. Before her husband started to fall in love with her, he was in love with her, and so that's the first climax. Then second climax comes after all kinds of the psychological turmoils he went through. He has to tell his friend, I think the best friend of his, and he has to tell that he confessed to his wife that his love and everything, and so he has to tell, and so that the second climax and the reaction to reaction from his husband point of view. And then thirdly, there is this family's reaction to this. And then all of a sudden he was thrown to the area where he was like a sponging off from the family, sponging off his ideal mind of being free, being idealistic, and being freewheeling, existence. And he thought that was very noble and very commendable, lifestyle. Just like Greek philosophers, right? That they philosophized their life and what is the best lifestyle of a human being as a human being, and so he enjoyed that, but now he has to face the consequences of his behavior, and exactly that. So I think at the end is kind of hopeful, but devastatingly hopeful, in that sense that you can sense how these particular things are constructed in a story-wise. So the first 3 quarters I felt like casually reading, and I thought, it's an enjoyable read. And then this first climax comes in. I was gripped, and then after that, second climax, and then third, and that's ending. And gosh, I just read that 5 minutes ago. Finished 5 minutes ago, and I thought about, I should think about this, but then again, my enthusiasm after reading this is going to dissipate. So I just wanted to make my the emotional the enthusiasm of this book. This book is very good, and so now after this I have to read another book of Soseki. I kind of wanted to read the Cat. I Am a Cat. This is I Am a Cat is like a comedy, like in the first fiction by him. But this is toward the end of his life. That's and a trilogy which is like a bond, which is a gate. I bought the book, so I kind of torn between I Am a Cat or the Mon, the Gate, and probably I like to read the Gate because this one's so good, and oh gosh. So anyway, Soseki, I would definitely recommend to the people who never read Soseki before, especially the Western reader, like a person who never had an introduction to the Soseki's fiction. I think this one gives you one of his greatness, his skill. I would say the construct this particular story, and his styles of writing is very engaging, and also very intelligent. I would say very intelligent and cultural, and very sophisticated lifestyles depictions. And so I thought in the beginning, well, maybe for Westerners, I think it's kind of difficult to read this, but no, don't worry about that. And I think this is very enjoyable and very good translation, and I recommend 100% to the people who never are exposed to the Soseki. He has other fiction like Bochan and Kokoro and Samakura. Any of those I strongly recommend. But this particular thing that I just finished, so I'm very, very enthused about this book, and so I'm kind of mumbling, and so I finish. Okay, thank you, bye.